Over the past few weeks, I've been obsessed with this anime called Bocchi the Rock. It's about a guitarist who suffers from severe social anxiety and plays alongside 3 other members in a band. If you haven't watched it already, you should. It's really good, and its second season has just been announced. I've actually been taking computer science courses for almost 2 months now, and I've made a couple of small projects. Recently, midterms have started up, and our computer science teacher told us that we need to make an interactive scene. By interactive, elements just had to move around. We can work with other people and have an entire week to finish it.
Oh my god.
You know, maybe this time I should try to work with someone else. How bad could it be? Hey, wanna be my— I will hang you like laundry. I kinda wanna hit people with it. Hi, I'm Fit, by the way, but that's not stopping anyone. When the teacher was talking about the project, I began thinking about ideas for the game. None of what I thought of actually sounded interesting though. I have a 3D printer now. It's a Creality K1C. Here's my Benchy. It's pretty standard. I really like Kasane Teto. She's my 3rd favorite vocal synth. Also, the first one's Kafu. Lately, there's been this very annoying thing in my brain that's just telling me that, well, I want you to guess what was bugging my brain at the current moment. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1, it was Bocchi the Rock. I took an engineering class this year and gained the skills to design models of fusion. Kind of. But for someone who's just started this year, I'm a bit of a genius. I kinda wanna hit people. I took an engineering class to design models of fusion. Wait, hold on. I want to cosplay as Teto, okay? You saw the video title. Like, you know what's gonna happen. Mind you, I have basically 0 experience with cosplaying. This is something completely new to me. Man, I really hope this— Man, I should make a Bocchi the Rock game, I thought to myself. And then I realized the problems. Okay, here's my plan. When people pass by my desk, which is right beside my teacher's desk by the way, they'll see me working on this. By making a Bocchi the Rock themed game, I'd literally just be exposing myself in front of an entire class that I watched anime. Before I model anything, I need a basic idea of what I'll be making. Obviously, I'm not skilled enough to model Hatsune Miku into a knife. Plus, imagine trying to hold that. You'd have like Miku-shaped grip marks on your hands. It just sounds pretty unpleasant. Plastering a decal of Miku onto a knife. I mean, it is a Hatsune Miku knife, but that's boring, and I probably wouldn't like you if you made me do that. Instead, I wanted to try styling a wig. Not because I wanted to learn a new talent, but because I went onto Amazon and all the pre-made wigs cost— I don't think I want to buy that. Oh, and I also wanted to pad out watch time. So I started staying up really late researching how to style a Kasane Teto wig. Mind you, I have never styled a wig before. So all my viewers who aren't into wig styling, Teto is a notoriously difficult character to make a wig for. Drill curl wigs are infamous for being horrible to style. I'll get more into it later in the video, but for now, all you need to know is that I'm a year-old who doom scrolls Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. I really wonder how this is gonna turn out. I ended up composing a Google Doc of tools and materials I need to make the wig. I don't feel like going through everything right now, but here's everything I put into that list. I'd be in aura depth if I admitted that I liked anime. Plus, like, what would I even do? I opted for a Miku hanger, which held the knife via her pigtails. Sure, it's not actually a Miku knife, but it's still Miku, and it's a knife, and that's all that matters, right? But what would a Miku hanger look like? Moving on, I now need to decide which Teto I'd cosplay as. There are a ton of Tetos out there, some easier to cosplay than others, but I bottled it down to her 3 official designs. Yutao Teto is arguably Teto's most recognizable design, but here's the thing, there's nothing to cover the armpits. I don't feel so secure showing my armpits onto the internet, so this design is already out of the question. Voice Speak Teto's outfit covers her armpits, so I don't have to worry about that problem. While her outfit does reveal her belly, I'd definitely take that over showing my armpits onto the internet. Synth V Teto solves basically every problem about the other 2 Teto designs. It doesn't really reveal anything I could be sensitive about. So the answer is pretty obvious. I'll cosplay Synth V Teto. Alright everyone, let's get into the— Okay, I'll cosplay Voice Speak Teto. Yeah, I can do that. Yeah. I know there's like a ton of scenes in Bocchi the Rock, so we had like plenty of ideas, but it was hard to find the type of game I could make with my current skill level. I'm an amateur coder. Remember, I only just started coding like 2 months ago. I'm still using P5. Is it better that I use P5? Probably not, but still. Maybe I could make a cafe game based on that one scene where Bocchi becomes employed. I could try making a rhythm game, but I don't even know if I have the skill to make a rhythm game. So I made a rhythm game. If I tried modeling an accurate Hatsune Miku in Fusion 360, I think I'd pass out and go into a coma for the next 2 weeks, and I also don't know how to use Blender, so I'm basing the hanger off Dannyville's box Miku design. And also this model I found on Thingiverse. I just love how simple they look, and they make for a good base, so I got to work. Since I'm fit, and I still can't really buy things without my parents' permission, I went up to my dad so I could buy the actual clothing. So here's how that went. I haven't played anything other than Friday Night Funkin', but a simple 4-key rhythm game is probably more than enough to get me an A. I started with the note system first. I reused the projectile code from another project I made. When a projectile gets deleted, every other projectile flickers and gets moved down a small bit. I don't know how to fix it, and I won't. It works perfectly fine, and even in a rhythm game, it barely has any effect on gameplay. I am so sorry to any modelers out there watching this. I think my modeling skills would kill a man. That's why I'm scared to admit I'm gay. Okay, I have all the materials. Let's go make that wig. Also, quick disclaimer, if it ain't broke, don't, fix it. And here's everything assembled. There are these long hexagons sticking out from her hair, and these are to hold the knives. I'll probably put a hole in the handle somewhere, and it'll hang from there. Please do not use this as a tutorial. I promise you, if you want to make a Teto wig, go listen to someone else. You'll find out why. I also made a score. If you press the keys at the right time, you get 50 points. But if you missed, you'd... Oh my god. Never mind then. My only concern is that it wouldn't be able to stand up on its own. It's very unbalanced and it would probably fall if you blew into her face a little, but I'll fix that problem later. No big deal for now. Here's the heart of the project. This long red wig will be stylized into a beautiful Kasane Teto wig. I picked out a long red one because I saw someone on TikTok turn a $10 Amazon wig into a Teto wig, and I thought that was awesome, and I thought I could do that. The wig is a bit darker than I'd want, but I could probably just edit it. We're on the internet. I can make it purple. I meant the wig. I made functions that spawned the left, down, up, and right notes and went home that day with a mostly completed note system. I'll refine it tomorrow, I guess. But something kept bugging me in the afternoon. What would the visuals even look like? I thought about it really hard. I had an idea where I'd grab a full body portrait of Boshi the Rock, cut her limbs up into individual parts, and Photoshop frames like that. But it would probably look really creepy, and I didn't even feel like doing that. I needed some way to visualize Boshi without it looking off. I could try making pixel art. I'm an okay pixel artist, but I felt like making art for my computer science project was a little overkill. I made art for my computer science project. Alright, it's time to 3D print while I play Stardew Valley. I previously 3D printed a mannequin head. It's not one of those fun ones, but I'm sort of convinced it would work. The first step into styling a wig is crimping. I bought a hair crimper, which essentially makes handling the wig a lot easier than if you just left it untouched. I also found this YouTube short where they make a helmet wig, and since Teto's hair is basically in the same shape, I decided to follow it. Okay, so this is Boshi. She looks a little angry. I don't really know how to make humans in pixel art. She's got the guitar. I made like left, down, up, and right sprites for her. That's pretty cool. Then we have Nijika. I didn't really feel like making a whole drum set, so I just gave her this drum thing and a stick. I think it looks pretty fine. No one even cares about this character anyway, other than this like one YouTuber I watch. It's fine. The Miku stand is now fully assembled and I've done it pretty flawlessly.
I got that. Oh god, no, I got it out of here.
Okay, so their first step is using the... Hey, wait, why aren't you crimping... Wait, what?
Hi everyone, Poly edit post fun. So while I was like editing this video, I completely forgot about the Dorito on her head. So I'm just oh, what the f— oh yeah, that's beautiful.
I don't know how to get super glue up. She looks stable. There's a small smudge. Oh gosh, no, oh my god.
I looked it up and apparently you don't have to crimp a wig, but I took that in as... So this is Kita. She's like supposed to have a light blue guitar, but if I did try to give her one, her sprite would look really crowded. So I ended up just giving her the microphone. I think most people only care about her singing anyway. F you, guitar. And then we have Rio. Everyone else looks like Boshi except for Rio. Guess what my favorite character is? I just borrowed the guitar Boshi had and painted it white. I also paid attention to her hair. She's like a lot more different than Boshi's hairstyle, so I couldn't just reuse it. None of these look good in my opinion. I avoided hot glue for this because I thought it would melt the material, but honestly I feel like I should have used it because
I shouldn't do this because I'm relatively new and I might burn the hair strand.
Looking back at it now, yeah, maybe I should have tried crimping it. All of these are shaped really awkwardly, but they look funny and their shading looks acceptable, so I ended up using these sprites. Anyway, so we're gonna have everyone present their projects on Monday. Just realize you can never trust me with super glue. Anyway, the next step to making a Teto wig is to cut off all the hair off the back and side, so we can use that hair to make the base of the Teto wig. Oh, okay, I know this looks really bad, but just so it was unavoidable. Everyone in my computer science class would know that I watch anime. I think I'm fried. In my honest defense, this is a computer science class. I think 80% of the students here are chronically online like me. I even saw one person with a Maid Calamitous profile picture. Incredible work. Anyway, I needed to make a chart for my rhythm game, but I don't really know how to do it. I'm definitely not capable of making a chart editor. Considering my skill level, that's way out of my reach. And then it hit me. Like, an idea slapped me in the head. Kind of like a bait. It's very unbalanced. I'll fix that problem later. No big deal for now. Yeah, that didn't go so well. I thought about turning her shoes into a base, so I tried to remove her legs from her skirt, but the super glue was way too strong and I ended up damaging my entire print. I had to reprint her bottom half. Trust the process. I think every rhythm game enthusiast will bash me in the head for this, but I made this cool program on Scratch that would play a song and you could press keys to the beat of the song to make a chart. Why Scratch? Well, because I'm used to it. But it also has this timer function I could use to time where the notes would spawn. So say for example, I wanted to chart this. After that, I modeled and printed a new base and now she stands up perfectly fine. Look at her, she's beautiful. We can finally make the knives now. Cool fact, I actually cut off wefts from a different wig I already had in order to quote-unquote practice for the Teto wig. However, I ended up puncturing my thigh with the shears and yeah. I could just do it. I bought some cotton batting off Amazon and used tacky glue and shears to stick these patterns straight onto the wig. This is for attaching strands of hair to the base. You'll see soon. Now that we have a bunch of hair, it's time to start making I could just go into this program, add the audio file, and before we get into knives, first of all, sorry, second of all, I just want to print something that I know would work. A spoon. I'll only print one for now because I don't want to waste any precious blue filament. I've already blown enough on the hair, and I'm not sure how much I'll need to print everything else I want to use. Anyway, here's our spoon. Guys, if you like Kasane Teto, look away for a bit. You'll hear this sound when you can look again. Okay, 5, 4, 3. Press keys on where I think the notes will play. The tip is actually a lot smaller than no, I'm not calling it that. The scoop is actually a lot smaller than I'd want it to be. Moving on, there's only one way to see if this works. I'll repeat this again. Drills are horrible to create when making wigs. I bought a long coiled wire to form the shape of the drills. I made a very wide C shape. I don't really know what to call these, and I just ran clear tape between the gap in the wire and then started creasing them into the shape of a drill. I then went ahead and attached paper throughout the entire drill. Now that I think about it, I probably should have just used red paper, but I mean, it shouldn't matter for now. I could just paint the back red anyway. This was really suboptimal. If you made a mistake, you'd have to restart the entire song over again. But it works, and I could care less about stuff like this. It's for a school project anyway. Pressing keys would add lines of code to a list. You could export the list into a text file, open it up, copy all the lines of code, and put it into a project. I attached all the lines of code into a function, and when I played music over it, it worked pretty flawlessly. Of course, I had to adjust where the notes would spawn so it actually felt like you were beating, tapping to the song. But my completely unconventional method of adding charts into my game worked. So we're moving on. Oh yeah. Okay, here's the really fun part. I need to coil strands of hair onto the paper to make drills. If you've ever made a Teto wig before, please know that I applaud you. This is a horrible process, and my drills ended up turning out mediocre. This is where I'd had to decide what song I put into the game. I prefer I only had one song, kind of like a demo. I ended up settling for that band. It's played during a scene that would be the perfect base for a Bochi-themed rhythm game, and either way, it's a banger, and it's about Rio, and I like Rio. I had the function play on startup of the project, and you know, this kind of reminds me of that one guy who used Miku's hair as a spoon. I really like that video. There's just something about it that resonates with me. Like, okay, enough beating around the bush. It's time to actually try it. I'm kidding. Cool fact, I barely sat at all during this process, and by the time I finished the first drill, my back was hurting so bad that I ended up sleeping at 10 p.m. rather than 12 a.m. I know that's like a 2-hour difference, but like, boom. We now have a playable rhythm game. The chart editor was done, but the game still looked pretty bad. I decided I'd work on the visuals tomorrow, but I genuinely felt proud of everything I'd done so far. You really thought I was gonna eat with a 3D print. No. PLA is usually not seen as food safe, but the real kicker is that the plastic is extruded out of a nozzle, which isn't exactly the cleanest. You can get away eating using your prints if the nozzle is made out of stainless steel, and the actual material is food safe. But my 3D printer uses a hardened steel unicorn nozzle, which isn't stainless steel, so that just invalidates everything. You can't make me eat using a 3D printed spoon. I'm not risking getting bacteria and chemicals in my body just for one video. Yeah, I'm dead at 30. These drills look okay. They aren't great, and they also look really messy, but I would rather kill myself than do this again. I went to computer science today, and the teacher said that hold on. Now that we have the drills, we can finally get back to working on the base of the wig. I went ahead and colored the wig base crimson so that the strands would stand out of it. Oh my god, I just botched that. I went ahead and colored the wig base crimson so that the strands would blend in a little bit more. I then started attaching strands of hair onto the base, and it turned out alright. It's really messy, but no, I don't want to say it. Okay, fine. I just started out. This is my first wig. I'm new, okay? I then did the same process with the right side, and now the base is looking great. And this is where the whole project fell apart. Oh, I missed a spot. I need to draw a rough draft of what would be our final project. So I locked it. Beautiful. absolutely beautiful. Well, as long as I get the bangs correct, it'll all turn out fine. I don't know how to style bang. Over here we have the notes. I want to change the circles and the guitars because circles are boring. I also have all the Kasoku band members over here. I'll have them animated whenever it's their part in the song. Now that we have a Hatsune Miku spoon holder, we can finally move on to making the knives. How long did it take us? Okay. I'll just use PLA for the entire knife. I don't have any blades in my house, so I can't make an actual knife. It's not going to be practical, but I just hope it can still cut things. My bamboo X1 carbon also arrived, so I'll be printing the knife using that. Not sponsored, by the way. This is horrible. I don't want to look at it. All this work, making drills, attaching batting, buying the materials and tools, it all led to... Man, they look so beautiful. Look at Kira, she's having fun. Look at that, 2 3D printers. I hope I can use them for more than one video. I know these wigs are cheap and I could buy another $10 wig to try again, but if I'm being honest, I think I'd be happier just leaving it like this. I know this was a first attempt, but instead of working up my experience, I just jumped straight into something I didn't even know all about. And I was punished for it. I'm sorry for what I'm about to do. I went ahead and added all the band members. I made a toggle that determined whether they'd be animated or not. Kira, Nijika, and Ryo were all identical to each other, but Bochi on the other hand was completely different. I want you to know that I charted that band not on the entire song, but purely the guitar parts. Essentially, the 3 other band members were filler to make the game look cool. Only Bochi matters here. I made her change sprites depending on what key you press. If you tap left, she'd go left, right should go right, up should go up. I don't think that's how you play the guitar. And down should go down. And that was Bochi. I added timers to when each member of Kasoku would play. It was pretty annoying. I had to tweak the timers because there was a small delay to when that band would play, but I got it all figured out. And that was it. I don't think I did anything else on Wednesday. Just play testing in characters. Anyway. Guitar Hero? Oh, 5 out of 5. Okay, this is really unsatisfying, but I ended up just buying a pre-made wig off Amazon. Look, I really wanted to custom make a Teto wig, but considering the fact that I want to get a video out and I just don't have the time to keep working on this, I'm better off just having something more than less of something. I'm happy I tried making the wig, but maybe the skill isn't for me. I dedicated this day to just improving the visuals. Right now, the band is playing in grayscale. It looks boring, so I made this cool background and stage using rectangles. I finally changed the notes from circles to guitars. It took a bit of time to get used to. I don't have a proper word for it, but they looked skinnier than the circles. It made the game look a lot nicer though. I also added these cool lights that change colors to members of the band. I had this leftover tempo timer I made at the start of the project, and I didn't want to waste it, so I used it to change the color and behavior of the cool looking lights. Here's our knife. It looks pretty. I don't have any hope for it. Hey, no, watch my video. I know you skipped here. Rewind back to the beginning. Okay. I'm sorry for how short Wednesday and Thursday were. Like, Wednesday was a minimum day, and Thursday I spent like more than half the period making the story and had like little time to do anything else. But oh well. Anyway. I dedicated this day to just adding new features. It's not sharp at all. That's literally the main point of a knife. To be sharp, so it could cut things like boxes and stuff. My knife isn't even pointy at all. One of the first things I did was change the font. I tried going for a pixel font, but it didn't feel right, so I just went with Comic Sans. Previously, the game automatically started whenever the page loaded. I added this cool screen to prevent that. I wasn't sure if I wanted to add more songs to this game, but I added this text above that showed the song you were about to play, just for style. I also added this dark rectangle under the notes. It made things look a lot more readable. The chorus part of that band looked pretty underwhelming. I felt like it needed to look cooler, so I added this no vibration effect that made the notes vibrate during that part. After a player completes a chart, the game just halts, no signal that you won or whatnot. So I added this function that checks if the player has passed a certain score. If they are past the score, they'll get this cool little win screen, but if they aren't, they'll be... But I kept playtesting this game a little bit too much, and before I knew it, the bell rang. Just as I was about to fix the lose screen. So I went back into Fusion to redesign the entire thing, and boom, we have a much better knife than before. But what am I gonna use this knife on? Oh, right.
Oh my god.
Hey, could I work on this at home? Yeah, sure, why not? Oh, thanks. And I just go over the amount of hoops I had to jump through in order to make this segment. Before my mom and sister came back from vacation, me and my dad went to Walmart to buy a pack of green onions so I could make this video. Okay, here's the project before the weekend. Still bare bones. Now here's the project afterward. Incredible improvement. But I got so caught up in editing this video that my mom and sister came back before I could actually film the entire thing. So when I finally had the time to record this segment, I checked the fridge and the green onions, they weren't there. Turns out mom had actually chopped the green onions before I could even film anything. So now I have nothing to cut. Great. First, I'll just get this out of the way. All of the footage you've seen until now was zoomed in. Here's what the game looked like beforehand. I increased the game resolution from a small 600 by 400 to 1280 by 720. Yes, I did have to go back into the code and readjust literally everything to fit that resolution, but it looks a lot nicer now, and I'm pretty proud of what I've done. The background is also much prettier. I added these cool posters on the wall. I still don't know how to recreate the story, but I did try my best. There's also a vignette for extra style. I also changed the guitars a little bit. They're obviously bigger, but I colored them and made them fatter. I did this by— There's also a title screen now. It's pretty generic, but it's better than just being kicked into a menu. Now that I wasn't limited on time, I could actually add more songs into the game. I charted Station Complex and Guitar Loneliness and Blue Planet. Thankfully, we actually had a couple green onions growing in our backyard, so I could actually make this segment, but really, enough beating around the bush. I've said that already, haven't I? Can I cut green onions using a Hatsune Miku knife? Yeah, I can. I also added a Drake song. I don't really know why I did, but I was low-key feeling it that morning, so.
You know, I'd never actually tried eating a green onion before, so I guess today that changes. Oh god, that. Oh my god, Miku, how the f do you like that?
I added a combo system. It does nothing to your score, but it does look pretty satisfying. I changed how the lights look too. Instead of appearing at the top of the screen, they appear at the bottom now. And that was it. Now all I have to do is present tomorrow. Man, I can't wait. Apparently, my teacher was recording each one of our presentations. However, when I came up to present, he forgot to unmute the microphone. So unfortunately, no audio actually came from the presentation. I'm sorry, I'm just as boned out as you are. So I'll just cover how it went. The presentation did pretty well. I wore gloves because I'm still insecure about my hands. I showcased that band and the song selection menu in the presentation. And the audience liked them. Like, really liked them. Unlike most of my classmates, I actually cared about this assignment. The rest of the projects that were presented were really low effort, so maybe that contributed to its success. I might not have audio for the presentation, but I do have these. The teacher had us play our games like it was an arcade, so I got these videos of my classmates playing. I hope they're good enough.
It probably would be if I knew how to play.
I quit.
Okay.
See, it's embarrassing.
It's so bad.
Oh! Oh my goodness. Okay, well that works.
Remember that I was out.
Oh, you lost. Okay, so far we've created a close-range combat item and a tool for eating. Do you see where I'm going with it? I don't know how a 3D printed gun would work, but I thought about it pretty hard and realized that Miku tomahawks would be awesome, so I'm going with tomahawks. If you don't know what a tomahawk is, neither do I.
I'm crossing the border. Don't stop me. I'm pretty. This is not a gun.
The blue one's my favorite, not gonna lie.
Like I'm crossing the border. This isn't a gun. It's a guitar.
Is to get the basketball
It's a base. Apparently they're just axes and you can throw them, and I think that's all I need to know. Yeah. I'm just gonna get this out of the way now. Most of what I make in this video is a glorified art piece. No, I'm not gonna be eating with a Miku spoon for the next 3 years. And no, I'm not gonna be cooking with a Miku knife for the next 3 years. Although that kind of sounds sick. Okay, we have a tomahawk. Now what? Well, obviously I can't just throw plastic axes at people. I'd go to juvenile. So instead, we're gonna use a very special test subject. Ready? Oh god, okay, sorry, I didn't know.
You mean you didn't know?
Okay, let me finish.
You're the one throwing axes like does your not have any self-awareness?
Look, I'm gonna 3D print something to make like one joke and then move on. I'm sorry. Whoa, Miku, you're starting to get into some Teto territory. Am I right, guys? Cool fact, the original idea for this video is that I'd 3D print Miku nunchucks, but I honestly thought I wouldn't be able to do it. Sure, I can model and print stuff, but I felt like this was way out of my reach. So I settled with knives because they were simpler and I could easily do those. But as I continued making this video, the idea just kept on bugging me, and I started to feel bad because Miku nunchucks is honestly such a cool idea, and scrapping it just felt wrong. So you know what? I'll make it happen. You might ask, how are we gonna print this? The whole assembly is way too big to fit on the build plate. Well, I got just the idea. I'm a genius.
Pick up that pair of nunchucks, perform a spin, and then a controlled throw.
And there we have it. Hatsune Miku nunchucks. Are they good? Well, there's only one way to find out.